flat brainwave case is, I think, the second case on your sheet there. And it's a little girl from Idaho who was called at the time Katie. This has been written up in at least 2 different journal articles, at least 2 different medical journal articles, Journal of Pediatrics and a second journal. She was taken to a hospital room after she was underwater for 19 minutes. Now it doesn't take a lot of thinking to realize that her heart or brain wasn't working after being underwater for 19 minutes. But when they got her to the emergency room, they continued to check her vital signs later, got her out of the water, rushed her to the hospital room, to the emergency room, and worked on her. Now, the pediatrician who worked on her, he's cited on the back. His name is Melvin Morse. He was an agnostic. And, it's not enough today to be a pediatrician, right? You have to have a subspecialty and a subspecialty. This guy was a brain specialist pediatric doctor, and he was doing the work in the emergency room that night. So here's this pediatrician who has all this research on brain states, and here Katie is brought in, being underwater for 19 minutes. Her eyes were profoundly comatose. She was profoundly comatose. There's no eye movement and no brainwave activity. They worked on her in the emergency room and couldn't do anything else for her and hooked her up to machines in ICU. And 3 days later, she spontaneously came to. Now, I say spontaneously because they didn't do anything else to her except keep her alive. They weren't doing any incredible efforts to bring her back. She was in ICU hooked up. And she came to, and Melvin Morris came in. I've had several conversations with him. We've talked for a few hours. And he said, imagine my interest. When she looked up, when she first came to, and she looked up and she said, "Oh, you're that kind doctor who resuscitated me. Thank you." And she said, "Where's the tall, thin doctor without a beard?" And he said, "He's right down the hall here. I'll get him for you." And now she had been profoundly comatose, is his phrase, no brainwave activity this whole entire time while the 2 men were working on her. He went and got this medical doctor. They came in the room and sat there. I think he said it took them 1 hour to hear her story about what happened to her the last 3 days. And they're feverishly scribbling notes. And here's what she said. She said, "First of all, I watched you when I was in the emergency room, and I was up above, and I could see what you were doing, and I could see different things in the room. Okay, well, what's the emergency room look like? Well, this is over here, and this is over here, and this is over here, and this is red, and this is silver, and this is this, and you guys did this to me, and then someone did this to me." And she's describing this process, and totally, awed these guys. And then she said, "An angel named Elizabeth came and got me, and I went off with Elizabeth." Okay, there's no test for angels named Elizabeth, but she said that Elizabeth allowed her to look into her home that night and see what her parents and siblings were doing. No brainwave activity, profoundly comatose, and she said, "I watched my parents. My dad came in the house, and he sat down over here, and he was staring straight ahead, just staring." She said, she had a brother and a sister. They were upstairs. She told what the brother was playing with. She told what the sister was playing with. She told about a popular song that came on the radio that her brother was humming, and she named the song. And she said, "My mom was in the kitchen cooking dinner." And Dr. Morris, he's getting his pen out, taking notes. He says, "There's a contact point with the world. What did your mom make for dinner?" And she said, "Roast chicken and rice." Roast chicken and rice. And when the family came in, he said to the mom, "What did you make 2 nights ago for dinner?" The night all this is happening. And to the father, "What were you doing inside the house?" And to the kid, "What did you go up and play with? And do you remember the song that came on the radio?" And to the daughter. And she was right down to the exact detail. Now again, there's no test for Elizabeth, the angel, but she's reporting things that are going on in the world while she's strapped down on a table, hooked up to machines, profoundly comatose without brain